very good evening to you and welcome to our primetime news. I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Nicola De Zoiza. Here's a look at tonight's headlines.
The president reiterates that he should be allowed to steer the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Former State Minister Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe sits in the opposition. Governor of the Central Bank on leave until investigations conclude on the bond controversy. A statement from the Prime Minister. Captain Angelo Matthews says the team is ready to face South Africa in the quarterfinals of the ICC World Cup.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that if he was handed over the leadership of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, members should allow him steer the party. The head of state emphasized this while addressing the SLFP District and Electorate Organisers Forum yesterday at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute.
At this event, responsibilities were vested with the SLFP Central Working Committee members for the forthcoming elections. In addition, an election committee was also appointed. The President's Media Unit said that a code of conduct for SLFP public representatives was also discussed. The President's Media Unit added that the amendments to the Constitution and the amendments to the electoral system were discussed along with the stance of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party on these matters. You might recall when Chandrika Kumartunga stepped down in 2005, Mahinda Rajapaksa became the president. Chandrika Kumartunga handed over the party to Mahinda Rajapaksa. As I recall, after Chandrika Kumartunga handed over the party to Mahinda Rajapaksa, she did not inquire into the functions of the party and how it operated. She gave the opportunity for the new custodian of the party to continue to work. If you and Mahinda Rajapaksa handed over the party to me, you need to allow me to work for this party. I need to state that clearly. You must decide based on your conscience. After I took over the party, there are views being expressed that the party had received democracy. This is a good sign. We need to have true peace in the country with no war taking place in the future. I wanted everyone to work together for 2 years so that we can iron out our problems.
අනාගතයේ මේ රටේ යුද්ධයක් එන්නේ නැතුව සැබෑ සාමයක් රට තුල ඇති කරගෙන යන්න. මේ අවුරුදු දෙකක්වත් එකට වැඩ කරමු කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒ ප්‍රශ්න ටික විසඳ ගන්නවා.
Parliament today debated on the alleged fraud carried out in the recent issuance of treasury bonds.
Why is it that when primary dealers requested to hold discussions regarding the problems that arose in the bond market as a result of the recently held bond issue of the central bank, they were denied the opportunity to do so? What is the reason behind this? Will an opportunity be granted to them? If not, why? Also, $124 million was taken out from the reserves of the central bank. Was it the governor or someone else who authorized this transaction?
The majority of the people who cast their franchise in order to topple the Rajapaksa regime never expected a situation of this nature to arise in such a short period of time. Neither the country, nor financial institutions, nor parties who showed an interest in the matter expected a transaction of this nature. The aspirations of the masses who joined hands to topple the previous regime never expected such a fraudulent transaction to take place. This transaction is an extension of the conduct similar to the previous regime. First it was American citizens, now it is Singaporean citizens. This is what has happened today. We expect the subject minister to provide answers regarding the various issues that have arisen in relation to the controversial bond issue of the central bank. We also do not accept the committee appointed to investigate the matter. How can they form a committee by appointing 3 lawyers? I shall not elaborate on the details of those lawyers. This is because members of the United National Party will be cognizant about them better than me.
Arjuna Mahendran has informed me that he is on leave since last Monday and has notified me that he will not engage in official duties until the investigations are concluded. I do not have the power to suspend him, as he said that he will not be reporting to work. I too told him not to report to work. By taking leave, he has created an environment for a just and impartial inquiry to be conducted. This is a stark difference when compared with the behavior of those who held this post before. No one has vacated their post before. No one was sent home either.
If he has something that he has to sign,
I will sought the advice of the Attorney General. Now, there are a lot of white-collar criminals in the government. The governor of the central bank has carried out an insider trading transaction. Now they publish it in the papers when an innocent individual carries out theft valued at just a few hundred rupees in 50s and 100s. Now look what these white-collar criminals are up to.
White-collar criminals,
Senior banker Rusiripala Thenakun says that the governor of the central bank needs to make public the shift that he made in systems during the latest bond issue of the central bank that has come under much controversy. Speaking to Newsfirst yesterday, Governor of the Central Bank agreed that there has been a communication issue between the Central Bank and the primary dealers during the bond issue and added that he takes responsibility for it.
Mr. Governor, there is a problem that persists with regard to the communication.
I agree. I mean, it's because the functioning of the market has not been perfect in the past. Now, in this instance, I think that communication didn't work properly. We should have said we needed to raise 10 billion, but of course, we had advertised it the previous day, and I only got to know of the Treasury requirement on the Thursday. So there was miscommunication. I accept that.
So can this be called insider trading, Mr. Governor?
No, this is not insider trading at all, because it was just a question of us shifting from one system to another.
One organization in question was privy to information that the others did not have.
No, that has to be established. I certainly that information didn't come from me.
Mr. Governor, many primary dealers have told newspapers on the grounds of anonymity that this has caused a confusion and instability in the market. And I think as a governor, you should take responsibility for it.
No, I mean, I will take responsibility for the fact that we should have advertised 10 billion, but we didn't have that information in time.
Well, it's very strange for the governor to state like this, because issuing out treasury bonds is a thing that is governed by an ordinance as old as 1937. The entire procedure and the process involved is laid down in this ordinance. So I don't know whether it is possible for even the monetary board to change systems like that. There has been an accepted procedure, a practice that has been followed continuously, and well, when somebody says we have changed the system, that itself is a very questionable thing. With whose knowledge did you change the systems? Did you make it public? Was it made known to the stakeholders, being the primary dealers or the licensed commercial banks? This must be circulated. It must be made known.
Speaking further, Rusiripala Thenakun said that the governor announcing that he would be on leave until investigations conclude into the bond issue is not a credible solution.
That he should have taken a more positive action than announcing that he is going on leave. Definitely this announcement by the governor cannot be construed as a correct step taken by him in his capacity as in this highest post, because it has several implications and repercussions. Because here the government's agent, principal agent for the government of Sri Lanka is the central bank, and central bank is conducting financial transactions on behalf of the government. And here is an accusation directly leveled against the governor in his personal capacity.
Last evening, we heard on News1st the governor of the central bank, Arjuna Mahendran, admitting that he did not notify the primary dealers of the increased funding requirement. He also claimed that they changed the system. That's simply not true. The Prime Minister, if I may say so, has unnecessarily complicated and muddled matters. In fact, it's quite simple. Arjuna Mahendran has admitted to a failure. It has cost the country millions. He should resign. As for those who seek to protect Arjuna Mahendran, perhaps they too should resign.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke on the irregularities taking place in the financial market.
Take for example Dilip Jayveer. His role in the Colombo Land and Development Company and Reef Combo have to be probed by the authorities. The Associated Daily Mirror called on Arjuna Mahendran to resign. But long ago, Kesara Abhayawardena ran an article asking me to resign as leader of the UNP. Fortunately, I did not take his advice. Hasn't the media been irresponsible? Sunday leader Ona Asanka Seniratne runs a business that had made losses from the inception. How is it that he has so much money to pour in the business of creating public opinion? Where does that money come from? From where are the funds? These are all those who benefited from the Rajapaksas.
Parliamentarian Dilan Pera expressed these views in Parliament today.
The Prime Minister has been appointed as he felt sorry. How would the minister who contested under the symbol of the swan raise questions against this? Because after contesting to the symbol of the swan, a Prime Minister representing the symbol of the elephant has been appointed. Now how can we expect a rabbit? How can he be the rabbit? The rabbit is Maithripala Sirisena.
Former State Minister of Higher Education, Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe sat in the opposition benches today. Prior to this, Professor explained to Parliament the reasons for his defection.
I'm also very sorry because I had hoped it would not be necessary for me to explain what occurred, which led to my resignation. I spoke to the Honourable Prime Minister about this and said that it was wrong for him to imply that I was still the State Minister. His answer was that my resignation had not been accepted. It is clear, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that I resigned with effect from February 17th, a month ago. The Ministry accepted that fact in taking back the cheque for my salary for the whole month and sending me instead a cheque for only half a month. My resignation was because the Cabinet Minister, having first told me that I would have to do all the work because he had to concentrate on the election, then took decisions without consulting or even informing me. I told him once that this was unethical when he ordered the Secretary to the Ministry to look into matters pertaining to the activities of the earlier Minister. We came into office, Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the promise of good governance. This is not good governance. I must also report that neither the Prime Minister nor the Minister kept any of the promises they made to me subsequent to my resignation.
In conclusion, Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe had this to say.
My commitment to His Excellency the President is absolute, and I believe he is the best hope for good government and systemic change in the future. But in order to make my position absolutely clear, I think it is only correct for me now, at this stage, to cross the floor of this House. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe speaking in Parliament today.
The CIFL Depositors Association says that former chairman of CIFL had defrauded a sum of 1.6 billion rupees from the deposits. Vijay Gunawardhan, the president of the CIFL Depositors Association, pointed out that this fraud had been committed with the assistance of then Governor of the Central Bank and other officials. Now, the depositors request that an immediate investigation be conducted and measures be taken to return their money.
CIFL, also known as Central Investments and Finance, which was under the supervision of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, collapsed in 2013. Since then, the depositors made various attempts to obtain their hard-earned money. However, they have not been given any solution as yet. The CIFL Depositors Association noted that 4,200 persons had deposited a sum of approximately 3.5 billion rupees in the company. A majority of the depositors are pensioners who had deposited their payment of gratuity.
We were not given our money nor the interest. We made a living through the interest from the deposit. This money has been stolen from us.
We have been protesting in the streets for over 2 years. No one is assisting us. We went abroad to earn a revenue. Everything was taken away from us. The previous government did nothing. We were dragged out to the streets and they never saw our plight.
CIFL owns another 3 companies. Aspic Corporation is one of them. The source of income for the Aspic Corporation was housing projects. This clearly states that the deposits made at CIFL will be used for these housing projects. That is a sum to the tune of 1.6 billion rupees. That sum has not been returned to CIFL. Former chairman Deepthi Perera had stolen this money through Aspic Corporation.
Depositors question as to how a financial institution that was supervised by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka could have functioned in this manner.
Ajit Niwad Kambwal should be held responsible for this. Rather than providing a solution for this issue, what was done was the extension of the license of this institution. What we can say is that the money was stolen in an organized manner together with Ajit Niwad Kambwal.
The CIFL Depositors Association says that the chairman who is responsible for this fraud had fled the country. At present, a case for violating immigration and immigration laws is being taken up, and the chairman in question is evading court.
ගියේ 11 වෙනිදා මේ නඩුව කැඳපු අවස්ථාවේ 6 වෙනි වතාවට වෛද්‍ය සහතිකයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
When this case was taken up on the 11th for the 6th time, a medical certificate was produced. If the CID is saying that Deepthi Pereira is in Thailand, how come a medical certificate is produced to a court in Sri Lanka? This has not been looked into. This may not concern to our issue, but this individual is. The international warrants have been issued. So we request that he be brought back to the country and a solution be provided. Not only Deepthi Pereira, all the others concerned too need to be questioned.
The
government has taken a decision in this regard. This is to sell all the assets of CIFL or to do everything that we can do in order to return the money of these depositors. We hope to provide a solution to these depositors as soon as possible.
On to more business news. Indices at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued to plunge in the past 11 days. There was no sign of change at the conclusion of trading today as well.
During the last month, the all-share price index stood at 243 points. That is a drop of 3.3%. During this period, Citrus Leisure stood out for recording the lowest indices. By the end of last week, the share of the company was down from 30 cents per share. This is a drop of 40% compared to the week before. Investors expressed the following views regarding the stock market.
If this goes on, it will not be a positive outcome for a section of the economy. What will happen is investors will lose confidence even further. The instability of the present government has a direct effect on the situation at present. The bond issues of the central bank is also a contributing factor. The delay in finding a solution to this problem has aggravated the situation.
2 billion එකට වැඩි profit තිබුණොත්
If your profit exceeding 2 million, then we have to pay a tax of 25% to the government. The bonds have been traded at a coupon rate of 6%. This is one issue. The other being a 15% interest rate being paid for senior citizens' investments of up to 1 million. Seniors may be taking their money out. This may be a reason.
1 million වලට 15% දෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒක එක කාරණාවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් මෙතනින් අදිනවා ඇති. උඟක් අය.
There have been a number of irregularities in the stock market in the past as a result of the Colombo Stock Exchange crashing in the recent past. We made an inquiry from the Securities and Exchange Commission as to whether the present stock market too will face a similar fate.
The stock market in the past few years have fallen about 3%. It's hard for us to categorize this fall as a crash. Stock market records indicate to date the difference between buying and selling stocks in the international market is close to 3 billion rupees. The Sri Lanka Securities and Exchange Commission notes that within the past few months there have been irregularities within the CSC.
Even though the all-share price index rose by 6.09 points at the end of trading today, the S&P index dropped by 6.11 points.
At a press conference convened at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today, journalists raised questions over the appointment of Shenuka Seniviratne as an ambassador even before the completion of investigations.
The press conference was chaired by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Attorney at Law, Ajit P. Pereira.
Shenuka Seniviratne මෙතිනිය විදේශ සේවය කියන foreign service කියන රජයේ සේවයේ ස්ථිර නිලධාරිණියක්.
Shenuka Seniviratne is a permanent employee of the Foreign Service. She was the former secretary of the ministry. You cannot seize all matter like recalling all political appointees in one single letter. These appointments need to be made by the President. In addition, the top-tier committee in Parliament will investigate matters pertaining to qualifications and independence. After all this is followed, one is appointed as an ambassador. We have been made aware of the objections raised by the people and the political parties.
ජනතාවගෙන් සහ දේශපාලන පක්ෂවල ලැබෙන විරෝධය අපේ අවධානයට ලක් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Have you at least commenced an investigation regarding her after coming into power?
එතුමිය විතරක් නෙමෙයි මේ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ
Not only regarding her, we are investigating a group of top ranks in the ministry internally.
අපි යම් යම් සොයා බැලීම් පරීක්ෂණ කටයුතු කරනවා.
When this issue arose, the UNP MPs of the current government raised concerns. After they came into power, why isn't there much criticism over the matter?
මෙහෙමයි දැන්. ආණ්ඩු බලයට ඇවිල්ලා
When we come into power and are appointed as subject ministers, we have a duty. This duty is different from the duty of the opposition. We have priorities. We will give priority to such matters.
ප්‍රමුඛතාවයේ දී යුතු කාරණාවල.
අපි තුන මේක වැරදි පූර්වාදර්ශයක් කියලා. ශෙනුකා සෙනවිරත්න මහත්මිය
This sets a wrong precedence. There is an allegation against Shenuka Seniviratne. It has not been proven, however, that is a different matter. While investigations are underway against an individual who has a serious charge against her, a decision should be taken after an investigation is over and the results be made public. However, appointing her to such a position while the investigation is continuing can be seen as a bad precedence. This should not have been done. In the past, Shenuka was connected to financial fraud. The United National Party raised the voice of concern over this matter. However, appointing her as an ambassador under a United National Party government can be seen as a joke in history.
Welcome back to the news. Minister Sajid Premadasa, speaking in Veeraketya today, said that the people will bear witness to the existence of the current government.
Building material for the development of the Okandayaya Chandragiri Vihara in Veeraketya was donated by Minister Sajid Premadasa.
Sri Lanka Nidahas Pakshe Nayakatumat.
The leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the leader of the United National Party are implementing a political marriage. The jealous few are of the view that if this happens, they will lose their positions. They will not receive any ministerial portfolio. They will not receive any benefits. Those who think of this are envying us. They are attempting to destroy the merge between Maithripala Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe. However, you must keep in mind that the witness for this merge are the people of this country who have confirmed this merge. Only the people can decide whether this is marriage or divorce.
Minister of Health and Indigenous Medicine Rajitha Senaratne says that 21% of the country is suffering from malnutrition. Now, he made this statement at the launch of the Global Nutrition Report for 2014 compiled by the Scaling Up Nutrition People's Forum yesterday.
We have about 21% malnutrition in this country. 72% of the proteins that we consume is from the animal proteins is fish. So therefore we calculated how much of fish grams per day to overcome the malnutrition, to provide proteins. So it was about 60 grams a day. Because we have promised our president in his manifesto, as the lady minister said, we have promised about 20,000 rupees.
At a time when we are trying to launch the nutritional program for pregnant mothers, and that's part of the 100-day program of the Honorable His Excellency, the President Maithripala Sirisena, in his election pledge to eradicate malnutrition among pregnant mothers and also to address the main issue of low birth weight rate. I, together with a lot of the doctors and the experts in the field, put our foots down and said, no cash. We were also thinking of launching a program on doing advocacy and education on nutrition, educating the public.
The Global Nutrition Report calls to action for nutrition so that the governments and civil society actors can begin to put nutrition at the top of their agendas. The report was compiled with the information garnered from 193 United Nations members and presents a comprehensive look at nutrition data and indicators.
A public forum on the draft Bill of Right to Information organised by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka together with US aid was held in Colombo yesterday.
Speaking at the forum, Executive Director of the Centre for Policy Affairs, Dr. Pakisothi Saravanamuthu, said that the right to information is a liberty and not a license.
Right to information is not license and should not be confused as license. To get every single bit of information, your curiosity might irk you into wanting. Right to information should not be used as a means by which governance and government is made more difficult. And there was, in fact, as a consequence of that, a correlating of right to information, freedom of information, as being something that is as closely associated, almost exclusively, predominantly associated with the media. Now, I do not for a moment deny that. I think that is very self-evident and obvious. But what I want to stress, though, is that it should not be seen as the exclusive or predominant province of the media in a functioning democracy. The right to information, and now it is going to be a fundamental right in our constitution, is a right that we as citizens in a democracy all share and must exercise.
Issuing a letter to the Minister of Democratic Governance, former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce commends the commitment of the government to enact the Right to Information Act.
In the letter, Jayaratne notes that he firmly believes that the intent of the proposed Right to Information Act is for the majority of the citizens of Sri Lanka to benefit by the use of the provisions of the Act in question. Chandra Jayaratne notes in his letter to the Minister of Democratic Governance that it is essential for proactive measures to lead affirmative action processes and that these must be embedded through the Right to Information Act and should ensure that these processes are effective in practice. For the full text of the letter sent by Chandra Jayaratne to Minister Karu Jayasuriya, log on to www.Newsfirst.lk. Geologists point out that the reason for the earth to give way and cave in the Ambadandegama area in Bandarawila was the limestone deposits located beneath the surface. They point out that a clear conclusion can only be reached after further study on the matter.
An officer attached to the Umaoya multipurpose development project inspected the site of the cave-in that took place in Galahitiyawa in Ambadandegama located in Bandarawila. According to a correspondent, a unit which is used to identify the rock types along the route in which the tunnel for the Umaoya project is being constructed is located roughly 500 meters close to the cave-in. 2 houses were damaged in the 25 feet deep cave-in that was reported on Sunday in Galahitiyawa. Steps were then taken to evacuate 90 persons from 23 families living in the vicinity. These families lament that although officials visit the location for an inspection, they have not been provided with any form of relief.
We have not received any form of aid as yet. We are constructing a temporary shelter for us.
We have no place to stay. People come here and look at the situation and leave. A solution has not been provided as yet. We request that a place to live be given to us.
Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor at the University of Peradeniya and Professor of Geology Atula Senawatna said that such cave-ins can take place in areas rich in limestone deposits. He added that research has commenced to ascertain whether there are other areas that may come under the risk of caving in. Professor Emeritus Kapila Dahanayaka, also of the Department of Geology at the University of Peradeniya, noted that a conclusion cannot be reached on this situation without any further study.
From what I witnessed on television, I can say that there are limestone deposits there. It looks like the earth had given way. If there was rain experience in the area in the days leading to this cave-in, it can be assumed that such a situation can take place in areas where there are limestone deposits.
Meanwhile, a tunnel has emerged from the excavation site for the construction of the Borolanda-Keppetiya road in Välimäda. According to a correspondent, an individual could walk into the tunnel, which separates into 4 branches 100 meters into the tunnel.
I was excavating here. This tunnel branches off into 4 other tunnels. This is all covered in rock and we couldn't even imagine what we stumbled into.
Newsfirst Gamada, which discusses the issues and grievances faced by the people affected by the Uma Oya Multipurpose Development Project, will be aired on Tuesday, the 24th of March, on our sister channel Sirasa TV at 10:30 p.m. Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
Take care and good night.